This is 232nd Street, Fall River, Massachusetts. The residents of this lovely home were Andrew Borden, his second wife, Abby, and his daughters by his first wife, Emma, aged 41, and Lizzie, aged 32. August 4th, 1892 was an unseasonably hot day in Fall River. Sometime between 9 and 10:30 a.m., Abby Borden was murdered in the guest bedroom while making the bed. She was struck once in the side of her head just above the ear, causing her to fall forward onto her face. She was then struck 17 or 18 more times on the back of her head. At approximately 10:30, Andrew Borden returned from his morning walk. After a brief conversation with his daughter, he lay down on the sofa for a nap. At around 11 a.m., someone struck him in the face with a hatchet. They struck him in the face with a hatchet 8 or 9 times. To make a very long story short, Lizzie was accused, and just over 1 year later she stood trial. There was little or no evidence against her, and she was acquitted. She returned to Fall River. A few years later, she and her sister bought a somewhat larger, nicer house, and she lived out the rest of her days in Fall River, even though she was ostracized by the friends and acquaintances who had supported her during her trial. This is another situation where I did a project in my graduate makeup class. I did the makeup of Lizzie Borden, and this is the photograph I used at the time. She was about 32 and I was about 32 at the time, and it was a successful project. And so I had a hard time trying to figure out, this is somewhat later, which photo to use. She's older and gained weight. Here she's older and gained weight. But I ultimately decided to use this one, which is about from the time of the trial, and she looks kind of harried and not really happy, but the bone structure is right, even if our age isn't. So here we go. Okay, kids, so I'm going to talk us through this. I'm putting my hair back because I'm about to try to do my hair. And I know I've told y'all before that I'm kind of a doofus with my hair. By the way, I'll be speeding up to various speeds through this. Sometimes twice as fast, sometimes 4, sometimes 8, just depending on how much I need to say. But anyway, I'm a hair doofus, but not only am I a hair doofus, but when I'm recording, I'm seeing the opposite of what I'm supposed to be seeing, so I get all dyslexic. So anyway, I sprayed some goop on it thinking, okay, well, if it's not moving around at all, I'll be able to part it. No, I finally gave up, went to the bathroom, and came back. So now I'm going to roll it. And I'm just, I wetted a little bit in the bathroom, plus I had that goop on it. So I'm going to use plain old squishy rollers. And since it was barely damp, I was hoping it would dry by the time I got the makeup on. And you'll see me put the makeup on, but it took a lot longer than you'll see me do it here, because this video in total is about 18 minutes, and it took about an hour to put on the makeup. So that's the virtue of speeding up. I'm having a sip of coffee now. But this dyslexic thing, looking into the camera, I mean, I even had a hard time rolling my hair. See, I had to shove that aside because I keep thinking that roller should be on the other side of my head, and it's not. I'm having a hard time parting my hair. I mean, just the whole thing. But anyway, it worked. It worked okay for this. I have on a black blouse. I got this on sale at Walmart. And you'll see in a minute, it's got a high collar. And, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slick back the rest of my hair with this goop. It's like Dippity Deuce used to be, that pink stuff, except it's green. And Richard used to use this. And it really slicks down your hair to the point that it's not going to go anywhere, but it feels like cardboard, and I hate it. And I finally got him to use some nicer stuff that, I can actually run my hands through his hair and it feels like hair and not cardboard or a broom or anyway. So anyway, but I'm slicking my hair down for this because I want it to look like it's back in a bun for y'all. If I were doing this for an actual costume party, I'd have to have a full Victorian dress and a full Victorian wig. But we're just doing, you know, as you can see, the shoulders up. So anyway, I have a little pin of a 4-leaf clover that I'm putting on this blouse. I'm wearing the blouse backwards. And it's one of these that has like an open part in the décolleté area. But I've turned it around backwards for the sake of this video. Lizzie was very famous for wearing a pin that looked like a pansy. I used to have one that my mother made back when she was doing ceramics, but it broke, so I'm using this 4-leaf clover. And these earrings, they're made of jet, and so they would have been appropriate to that period. Jet was used a lot for mourning jewelry, so it would have been appropriate for that. All right. So anyway, I am about to put on contact lenses for the first time since about, I'm going to say 1991. They were astigmatic lenses because I have astigmatism, and I don't know, I just didn't like them very much. It was hard to keep them clean. I had this stuff that was like soft scrub for contacts, and I just never seemed to be able to get that grit off. But anyway, I saw MaryEllen, who I will list below, do some contacts in a video, and I used her code, and I went and I bought a pair of gray ones. Why gray? Why I got gray? Because Lizzie's eyes have been variously described as gray, light brown, and I think, I forget, either light blue or light green, depending on who was talking. Look, see, I'm amazed at the gray eye there. I'm just, wow, wow. But anyway, I went by the police report that said she had gray eyes. And I've always wanted to see myself with gray eyes. And the police report also said that she had light hair. It looks dark in all her video and all her photos, though. So I don't know. They might mean strawberry blonde, or they might mean not black. Anyway, I'm using this Arden, what's her name? Elizabeth Arden foundation. It's a cream foundation, and it's another one of my old reliables. It's vanilla something. Anyway, it always looks nice on me no matter what. And I'm using the Fenty Beauty contour, and let me see, tell you what my color is because it didn't show up on there. My color is amber, and to me this is not all that different from stage makeup, you know, in a darker color, so I'm using it for this. Lizzie's face was a little wider than mine. And in her old age, that picture I showed earlier of her and her sister Emma together, she'd put on a lot of weight by that time, and it was very wide. But even here, her face is wider than mine, and her jaw is more square, so I was trying with my contouring of the jar to get mine to look a little more square than it normally does. Anyway, I sure do love this product for contouring. And I'm going to have another sip of coffee while I try to square off that jaw. So I'm going to use one of these imitation, whatever these fancy schmancy brushes are called. I can't remember. What this is, Lizzie had much higher cheekbones than I do, so I'm putting my contour a lot higher than I normally do. And I'm bringing it, not only am I starting it higher, but I'm bringing it a lot lower because that's how hers looked. It was, her cheekbone was higher, but her contour went deeper. I still can't get over myself with gray eyes. I kind of keep looking at them. Okay, her forehead seemed to be, well, it was more, I guess, her hairline grew in more of a triangle. So I'm trying to round or triangulate that a little, even though it's going to be covered with bangs. And it was probably the lighting, but I'm putting a little shadow under the lips like she had in the photo. And they're up above the lip. Okay, when you look at me straight on, you don't see my nostrils as much as hers, so I'm taking just a brown eyeliner and trying to raise my nostril so that it, you can see it more from straight on. I was not, at the time I thought I'd done a good job. I realize now I was not very successful at that. I really need to be more aggressive with that if I want it to succeed. So I'm taking some of that Wet n Wild that isn't clown white, but is really good for this project, that I used in the other Halloween project. And what it is, her nose is different than mine in a couple ways. It's more pinched at the top, and then as you go down toward the tip, it's wider. And then also she has wider nostrils. So I'm trying to create the illusion of the wider nostrils and different ridge of the nose by using this highlighter. And then in a second, I'm going to shadow using the Fenty Beauty contour again, shadowing outside of it and pulling it back a little bit in hopes of making those nostrils look a little wider. If I were doing this on stage, I'd be a whole lot more aggressive with the amount of makeup I used, since this is, I guess, more like it would be on film. Okay, now I'm showing you I'm about to do my eyebrows. Yeah, I'd be a whole lot more aggressive, but I guess, I don't know. I don't know how it is on film. I've never taken a class, about film makeup. But anyway, I'm imagining that how it is on video is something like it is on film. Her eyebrows were straight across the top, or straighter than mine, and didn't extend as far down at the outer corners. They just kind of curved a little and then stopped. And I think I kind of achieved that here. By the way, in case you're wondering, I don't think she did it. She was acquitted. There was no proof she did it, but there was never any proof that anybody else did it either. And various people have been accused throughout the years. Okay, her lips. Her top lip was wider than mine, so with the lip pencil, I drug it out wider than mine. And her bottom lip, though, was shorter than mine. So I did the lip liner inside my lip rather than on it or below it. And then I'm highlighting underneath it with the white. So I tried to look a little more like. Actually, I realize now I should have probably made that upper lip not only wider, but a little bigger. Her upper lip was a little fuller than mine. Okay, now I'm highlighting my cheeks. Right under there's my cheekbones, highlighting the cheekbones, and then down the cheek, because she had these nice full cheeks. And she did have a sag under her eye, but it was higher than mine. So I'm also going to highlight my sag under my eye, and I'm not too successful at hiding it, but I try. And then I draw in a dark sag where hers was. Because she was in jail for a year. And I think it was a year of great distress for her, and she just didn't look as pretty as she normally did in that photo that was in all the papers about the time of the trial, which is the one I'm recreating here. Okay, she did not have hooded eyes. And so I'm drawing the crease really high. And also, I learned a good lesson here. I have a bad tendency to, when I draw on my crease, to take my eyeshadow way outside. And look how much my eye looks lifted. I put actually some of that highlighter out there to keep me from going far out there. I was trying to make it like where hers stops. And look how much my eyes look lifted. I'm going to have to maybe put that little white line out there in my everyday life to keep me from dragging my shadow too far out and making my eyes look droopy. So that was a good lesson from this. Okay, now I'm taking the shadow along the side of the nose and trying to do that thing, like I said, with the, more pinched up at the bridge and gradually getting wider as you go down toward the tip. And I think that helped using the shadow. Okay, Fesh Fan. This I got on Amazon. It's just a little, it's like a scrunchie, except it's got hair. So what you would do is if you have a bun, you'd put this around the bun and it makes it look like you've got this little pretty top knot. Well, I don't have any hair, as you know. So I'm just pinning this in so it looks like I got a bun up there from the front. From the back, it would look ridiculous. Or even the sides too much. But anyway, for this video, it looks like I have a bun. How about that? And now comes the exciting part. We're going to see, please, please, please let me have curls here. And I'm excited because I actually do. So I think I'm just going to shut up for the end of the video here because I go straight from this into the end and you can decide. I think I did a fairly decent job. Not the greatest, but not half bad. And I'm just going to let you watch it through to the end. Hope you enjoy it. And see you next time. You only have about a minute to watch.